Hi everyone, my name is Hijab Fatima and I did my presentation on reproduction or reproductive system. So here I'm gonna discuss with you guys the two ways that Dr. Ree discussed in our module 3 and 4 was external fertilization and internal fertilization. So internal fertilization was used by mostly amphibians that are frogs, like creatures, salamanders, all that. They arrived first on Earth. These creatures returned to water to lay their eggs and to fertilize them. The second method he discussed was unborn egg. That is called a meiotic egg that has shell that protects the egg and develop the embryo. It also has the yolk that enables the animal to feed within the egg. So for my first creature, I picked axolotl. Um, I find them very cute and unique like creatures, so that's why I picked them. Um, for the axolotl, the environmental change that created axolotl was the steady aquatic environment found in high altitude lakes of central Mexico um, that made them create axolotl. Axolotl have limbs, spinal cord, and heart that help them to recover from injury and also defend them against predators. Sorry. They do not have lungs, but they do have the larvae with external gills. So they do not have the developed lungs like any other creature has. Instead of that, they have the larvae and external gills. So the important adaptations in axolotl are they can change color, they can vacuum the food in, so vacuum feeding. Um, they also have sexual communication for mating. They can communicate um, when they wanna, mate. And they can have they have a exception for environmental uh, things. So temperatures, they are open to different temperatures. Axolotl, frogs, and salamanders are example of amphibians, so that were able to lay eggs in water because of lack shell and protective membrane that they need for the egg to, to survive on land. They do not have that, so that is why they can't fertilize eggs without water. They need water to fertilize the eggs. Alrighty. So the second creature that I picked was Western painted turtles. I find them that they're very, very unique because of their structure. Um, I do like turtles. I find them very cute. So that's why that is the also reason that I picked Western painted turtles. Western painted turtles are not created with any environmental change. They adapted to their watery surroundings over million years ago. So they are not created by any environmental change. So the turtle's capacity to hibernate in frozen ponds and lakes without oxygen. That was a very important evolutionary development that they developed to prevent tissue acid builds up during anoxia. They stop their metabolism and use shell and bones chemicals to survive. Western painted turtles have unique adaptations like their flat hydrodynamic shell and webbed feet for fast swimming that help them swim fast, and they have the ability to pull limbs into their shell, so they can pull the limbs into their shell with the face, um, so they can protect themselves from predators. And freeze ability and metabolic depression, which allow them to survive under ice for months without breathing. I feel like that is very unique, that they can survive under the ice for months and months already. So Western painted turtles are the example of amniotic reproduction, that is internal fertilization. So male turtle inject the sperm into female's cloaca using their genitals. Um, this ensures the fertilization before the eggshell and membrane develop. Then females then go dig the shelter, and then they place their eggs in the sand or dirt that is away from water, so they are very less likely to drown or dehydrate because predators cannot find them. Turtle eggs are amniotic and shelled, so they have a leathery shell that allows them breathing and avoids water loss. So the inner leathery shell allow them to breathe and avoid the water loss. And then amnion yolk membrane are there to feed and protect the embryo. Um, the embryo are basically tiny copies of adult turtles or hatched from eggs, whatever. There is no aquatic lark stage, unlike amphibians, so they are fully independent. They don't have to depend on water to fertilize the eggs like amphibians do. Advantage for turtles are that turtles and other reptiles expand into dry terrestrial environment due to their reproductive independence. So they could breed outside water and ponds, unlike amphibians again. So reptile, mostly all the reptiles, they are controlled terrestrial environment after this reproductive technique reduce their aquatic dependency. Alrighty. Now reproduction in clades that I found was Porelepiforms, Osteolepiforms, Alpistos tegus, and Tiktaalik. I'm sorry if I take my time pronouncing these, but yeah. So these clades are the fishes with lobes, but they still reproduce in water. So external fertilization happened when they discharge eggs and sperm in water because they lacked dehydration protection, and embryos grew in watery settings. So these group of clades, they are like fish with lobes. They have to have fertilization in water. Now, Ichthyostega and Acanthostegas are first generation tetrapods that lay eggs in water. Though they possessed limbs and could walk on land, they still need water to reproduce. So they are like frogs and salamanders, but Paralepiforms, Osteolepiforms, and Elpistostega Stagis is just like axolotl. They need water to reproduce. Unlike Ichthyostega and Ecnistostega is similar, but they can walk on land and they can reproduce, but they have to reproduce in water. In which axolotl can't even walk on land and reproduce on land, sorry. Okay, the other clade was reptiliomorph. Reptiliomorph is a amniot, which is produced by the amniotic egg, a terrestrial life breakthrough, that is the amnion, chorion, and allantois is a membrane of amniotic egg that protects and feeds the embryo. Again, they have a leathery or hard shell that prevents dehydration and permits gas exchange. They develop on land. The they can be fertilized internally before laying. So they has to have, you know, engage internally before they lay the eggs. So reptiles such as turtles, lizards, snakes, they have mastered this method and they could reproduce without water and spread to dry areas. Now the difference here, I'm gonna discuss about the difference between axolotl egg and Western painted turtles. So on my left, you can see the axolotl eggs. They are very jelly-like. They're very easily pressed through. They put in water and tie to plants. They have like aquatic larvae with gills on the outside. And then water is necessary for eggs and larvae. For Western feeding turtles, on the other hand, is internal fertilization with reproductive organs. They are amniotic membrane, leathery shells, and hard outer shells. They are buried in the ground. On the land, they grow directly into little adults. They do not need water, and eggs and embryos live on land. So that is a little difference between axolotl eggs and Western painted turtle eggs. Here are my sources that I chose and they helped me did my presentation. So I hope you liked my presentation and that is it for my presentation.